Class 9 Subject Chemistry Chapter 1 Matter in Our Surroundings Module 3 Objectives. At the end of this session, you will be able to know the process of condensation and freezing, understand the concept of latent heat, and know the process of sublimation. Change of state from solid to liquid on the basis of molecular structure. When we heat any solid substance, the particles gain energy and start vibrating. At the melting point, the particles of a solid have sufficient kinetic energy to overcome the strong forces of attraction holding them in fixed positions, and the substance gets converted into liquid state. Now, explanation of conversion from liquid state to gaseous state. When a liquid is heated, the particles gain energy and makes its particles move even faster. At the boiling point, the particles of a liquid have sufficient kinetic energy to overcome the forces of attraction holding them together, and the liquid boils to form a gas. Condensation from gas to liquid state. So what is condensation? If we cool steam or water vapor by lowering its temperature, it is converted into liquid water. The process of changing a gas or vapor to a liquid by cooling is called condensation. Explanation of conversion from gaseous state to liquid state on cooling. When a gas is cooled by lowering its temperature, then its particles lose so much kinetic energy that they slow down, move closer together until they start being attracted to each other and form a liquid. Please note, condensation is a reverse of boiling or vaporization. Conversion from liquid state to solid state. For example, when water is cooled by lowering its temperature by keeping in the freezer compartment of a refrigerator, it changes into solid ice. The process of changing a liquid into a solid by cooling is called freezing. Freezing means solidification. Please note, freezing is the reverse of melting. So the freezing point of a liquid is the same as the melting point of its solid form. For example, the melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius, so the freezing point of water is also 0 degrees Celsius. Freezing point. It is the temperature at which liquid changes to solid state on cooling. Explanation of conversion from liquid to solid state. When we cool the liquid, the kinetic energy of molecule decreases, due to which they move slowly. If the liquid is cooled enough up to its freezing point, each particle stops moving and vibrate about a fixed position. At this stage, the liquid freezes and becomes a solid. The first picture that you can see on the screen is the experimental setup for the determination of melting point of ice. And the second one is the experimental setup for determination of boiling point of water. Now let's see what is latent heat. It is the amount of heat released or absorbed during change of state of the substance. Latent heat does not raise or increase the temperature, but latent heat has always to be supplied to change the state of a substance. The word latent means hidden. It is called latent heat because it becomes hidden in the substance undergoing the change of state and does not show its presence by raising the temperature. So the latent heat which is given to change the state of a substance cannot be detected by a thermometer. Latent heat is of two types. Latent heat of fusion. The latent heat of fusion or melting of a solid is the quantity of heat in joules required to convert 1 kg of the solid at its melting point to liquid without any change in temperature. The latent heat of fusion of ice is 3.34 into 10 raised to 5 joules per kg. Latent heat of vaporization. The latent heat of vaporization of a liquid is the quantity of heat in joules required to convert 1 kg of the liquid at its boiling point to vapor or gas without any change in temperature. For example, the latent heat of vaporization of water is 22.5 into 10 raised to 5 joules per kg. Now what is sublimation? Conversion of solid directly into gaseous state. The changing of a solid directly into vapors on heating and of vapors into solid on cooling is known as sublimation. A change of state directly from solid to gas without changing into liquid state or vice versa is called sublimation. It can be represented as shown. Sublime, a gaseous state that is formed due to sublimation of solid. Sublimate, it is a solid that sublimes. Examples of sublimation. The common substances which undergo sublimation are ammonium chloride, iodine, camphor, naphthalene and anthracene. Solid carbon dioxide or dry ice sublimes to form carbon dioxide gas. This is the experimental setup to show the sublimation of ammonium chloride. So you need a china dish in which you put the ammonium chloride and then you invert a funnel, glass funnel over it and put a cotton plug at the stem of the glass funnel. And when you heat the china dish with a burner, you will find the vapors of ammonium chloride in the glass funnel. After cooling, if you take and observe the inner sides of the glass funnel, you will find solidified ammonium chloride. But you will not find trace of water, trace of any liquid. So this shows the sublimation process.